Hey everybody, it's Todd back to answer some of your questions about the whole Newsboys thing. So if you didn't know, a song that I co-wrote with a friend of mine called Hallelujah for the Cross has been recorded by the Newsboys for their upcoming record of the same name. It's the title of the record. And it's also the single that they're going to send to radio. So that's very, very exciting. We're totally surprised and blown away and super excited and happy and thankful and all that stuff. So, I've been getting a lot of questions since we announced it over the weekend and figured I would kind of take some of those. Those of you who've kind of sent those in or kind of cornered me and asked me, thanks for asking. That feels great that you'd be interested and that you'd care to know about kind of how this all happened. So here are some of the most common questions and the best answers I have for them. So one of the first things that people are asking is, when is it out? When can I hear the song on the radio and when can I buy it? Well, the album is released on November the 4th. But the radio single is supposed to be on the radio or be added to the radio, I guess you'd say, in late September. We do not have a date on that yet. I hope as we get closer to it, that we can sort of find out from our publishers when that song is gonna actually start being on the radio. I actually have already been listening to a lot of Christian radio, even though I know they're not going to play it. It's like I'm hoping against hope, like maybe they'll play it today. As I've told some of you, we didn't even know this was a thing. We didn't know that the Newsboys were interested in it. We didn't know that they had recorded it. Essentially, it was just a friend of a friend of a friend. Actually, a friend of my co-writer, Ross King, who wrote the song with me. A friend of his passed it to a friend, and they passed it to a friend. It wasn't any sort of pitch. We didn't go in and say, please do this song. We didn't have our publishers do that. There were no meetings. It just sort of happened apart from us knowing. Yeah, so the question that everyone wants to ask, and a few people actually do ask, is about money. Actually, most people go, are you a millionaire? Are you going to be a millionaire? Or how much did they pay you for the song? Well, that's not really the way publishing works, actually. It's not the way really that music works, especially if you're a songwriter who's trying to get other people to record your stuff. We haven't been paid anything for the song. We will make money off a few different sources. There's probably more than this that I don't even know about because I'm so new to this world. First off, you make money off actual sales, so sales of the record. Or the single or whatever. You get a very small portion of the record sales. In both my case and Ross's case, this song is with a publisher. Ross has a publisher who he writes for. I have a publishing deal on this specific song. I don't write for that publisher, but for this song, I have a deal. And so they get a small amount of money for sort of taking care of all of the business, all of the management side of the song, making sure I get paid, really. So they manage that, so you do get royalties from the sales of the song. You do also get performance monies, which would be from when it plays on the radio, I think even played live, like on tour or something. And then for people who write worship songs, and this is the big question mark, although we feel good about it and we're excited and hopeful, is you do get paid when churches use the song. So there's this organization called CCLI, the Christian Copyright Licensing International, I think. So they manage royalties for worship music, and so churches, a lot of churches, not all churches, but a lot of them have one of these licenses that they pay for, which allows them to do these songs and not have to get permission from every single writer or artist that they want to use. In our case, because the song's written like a hymn, there's also what the music industry calls print, or specifically Christian music industry calls print music. This is actually sheet music, and specifically or usually it's for choirs. And so still a lot of churches all over the place using choirs, using huge choirs, as a matter of fact. Um, I think we tend to think that the choir is dead, but it's not. There's a lot of churches where that's a viable aspect and valuable aspect of worship. And the last question that I've been asked a lot, and I know Ross gets this too. The "Are you moving to Nashville" thing. Is this the dream come true, and now you're going to pack up your family and leave? Well, that's not true for a couple of reasons. The first of which is That's not what my life is. I don't believe God's called me to do that. God's called me to serve the local church, and specifically Bethel Bible Church in Tyler, Texas. Go Bethel. So there's no moving to Nashville sort of thing. But I do think that speaks to a larger question that I think most people are interested in is, especially folks who maybe don't know me very well. Is this the beginning of a songwriting career? Like, do you want to keep writing songs for other people? So what a lot of people don't know is I've been really focusing on writing for hire, I guess you would call it. I don't know if there's a really good title for it. For about the past 14 months, I've been doing this. I've been writing songs that hopefully will be pitched to artists to sing. So yes, this is something that I care a lot about and I want to do. The great thing about technology and about the internet is that I can do that while I live in East Texas. I don't have to move to Nashville. I probably will continue to take Nashville trips to go and have meetings and co-write. But even as such, I'm doing a lot of co-writing on Skype right now. So no and yes. No, this isn't any sort of career change, but it is a thing that I think I'm good at and want to get better at, and really need to get better at. As of today, about 2 weeks. So it told me about 2 weeks ago, and luckily the record was already done. One of the things that usually happens when you're writing for other people is you get these things called holds, which means maybe a label or an artist hears a song and they like it and they're about to do a record, and so they want to kind of be like maybe, they want like a maybe, and so they put a hold on a song. Then you have to just kind of wait, and you can't really tell anybody, and you can't really celebrate it because it may not even make it on the record. And 99% of holds don't get cut, and so you just have to learn to live with that. This was not that sort of deal. This was not, something we had to sort of sit on and wait. I mean, we really only had to wait about a week and a half before we could tell. Really not even that long. Really about 3 or 4 days after, our publishers were telling us we could go ahead and tell folks. So that was another blessing, is that it was already done. It was already recorded. Our publishers had already heard the song. So, so those are the questions. If anything else pops in your head, if you're a songwriter, you've got songwriting questions you want to ask about it, or if you've got any questions specifically about the song. It's one thing a lot of people have asked is, well, how did y'all write it, and who did the music, and who did the words? That might be worth another video. It's probably too long to tell right now. But yeah, so if you've got any other questions, feel free to send them my way. Thanks for watching. I know this was really long. I already talk a lot in general, and when I'm talking about songwriting, it's even worse.